Hey everybody, Robert Cardillo here, and I'm here right now with friend of the show, former UFC fighter, and you have a pretty exciting thing coming up, Zac Pauga. And like I said, it's been a while. So how you been, man?
I've been really good, really good. Out there in the fighting free agency, just having fun and making a thing of it. It's been cool.
It seems like it, man. I mean, just keeping up with your career over the past year has been really interesting. Just, fighting outside of the UFC and then dirty boxing, now or karate combat. And to start with that, obviously, your fight or fights, as we'll get to, they're coming up on July 18th, so less than 2 weeks away now. A modern day kumite in karate combat. And for those who, don't know what the hell I'm talking about, why don't you explain what you're taking part in pretty soon?
Yeah, it's an 8-man tournament. So there's going to be brackets, three fights. It's all happening in one night. Heavyweight tournament. We weigh in Thursday. To win the whole thing, you got to win three fights on Friday. So it's like old school UFC one. I've been calling it kumite. It's like blood sport, right? It's all the cool stuff that we love about martial arts and that got us all into it, and it's awesome, right? The rule set for karate combat, for people that don't know, it's basically MMA with no stalling, right? If it can go to the ground. If it goes to the ground though, you have to do damage. There's no submissions. You have to be striking, you have to be do damaging, or they stand you up. You have access to everything on the feet: punches, kicks, knees, elbows. It's an amazing fan friendly rule set.
Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why I'm super excited for it. Karate combat, honestly, like outside of the UFC, is one of my favorite things to really keep up with. And quick question about the tournament too, because I remember a while back now, we had Sam Alvey on the podcast, and that was pretty much right after he won the heavyweight title for Karate Combat. So is he taking part in the tournament, or does the winner have a chance to fight him afterwards?
So he is not in the tournament, and I would have to believe, right, the winner of this heavyweight tournament has to fight for the belt. That's no promises have been made, but I just have to believe that who else is going to fight for the belt if not the Kumite champion.
Yeah, that would definitely be a cool build up for it. Obviously, a one night tournament. And like, does the possibility of maybe fighting a guy like Sam Alvey if you win this tournament, does that like excite you at all? Just seeing like how long he was in the UFC. And I think a lot of, real MMA fans know how real of a fighter that is.
Absolutely. For someone like me who's now outside of the UFC, Sam Alvey's an inspiration. He had his run in the UFC. He left and is now bigger than he ever was in the UFC. So to be able to do the same thing and then get my shot to take it from him is a dream.
Yeah, man. And that would be really cool to see as a fan of both of you guys. And just to kind of like get into the event itself a little bit, like how did this kind of come about? Like, was this just something you were seeking out, or did it get brought to you and you were like, I have to compete in something like this? How did this happen?
So I have a message to President Awesome from like a year ago of right when I got cut from the UFC, messaging him like, "Hey, I love Karate Combat. I've been following it since before uh Asim was even a part of it, when it was just old school Boss Rutan, when they were having like real karate fighters do it. I've been a fan of this promotion forever. So when I got out of the UFC, I was immediately like, I want to go fight for them. Told my manager that, and it just didn't come about until right now. And he just kind of came to me and was like, "Hey, they have a heavyweight tournament. Like, how do you feel about fighting multiple times a night?" And I was like, "That sounds amazing." Like, I don't know how many guys they could find to do it, but they asked me to do it, and it was an immediate yes.
As a martial artist, like how does that feel to kind of go back to like what really feels like the early days of like MMA in terms of like the rule set, obviously, multiple fights in one night, no stalling. Obviously the stalling back at UFC 1 was a little different, but
Yeah,
like just what does it mean to you kind of just as a martial artist to be competing in such an interesting night?
I don't have 12 weeks to prepare for one guy, right? Or to game this system, and this guy does that, and I'm going to wait for that. After, I don't even know who I'm fighting round one. After that, I really don't know who I'm fighting. Like, you just have to be the best version of yourself. You have to bring your best tools to the game and believe in them to carry you through. And that's what it's really all about. If someone assaults me on the street, I don't go, wait, come back here in 12 weeks, Let me watch some tape on you, and we're going to see who the best fighter is. No, you figure it out right then and there. So I love it, and like I said, I feel like this is martial arts. This is fighting. This is what being a fighter is.
And like for the training aspect of it, like does it change at all with these different rule sets? Because even like besides karate combat, even dirty boxing, obviously a different rule set than MMA. Like, do you adjust at all to the like to train in that way, or you just kind of like do you kind of just keep doing what you're doing?
No, so I made a huge adjustment for this one. Dirty boxing, it was I had like 5 days notice for that, so I just came off the couch. So I didn't even get a chance to train for that. But like it is for people that don't know, it is way different. And I found that out in my dirty boxing match. Like I thought I did well, but I gassed out. Like I'm not. It's not a mystery to see. Like I gassed out, but I thought, oh, I've been fighting 5 minute rounds. I can fight 3 minute rounds. It's not the same. It's it's like being a marathon runner and just being like, oh, I'll enter the 100-meter dash today. Like they're totally different sports, and I gotta feel that. That's one of the benefits I have. I gotta feel that, whatever 4 months ago. So it's been all 3 minute round kickboxing, high pace, right? The first two fights are only 2 rounds, are 2 3 minute rounds. So like you can't drop a round in this tournament. You have to win every single round basically. So it's been all about pushing the pace. That's all my camp's been about, pushing the pace, pushing the pace.
And like confidence wise, like obviously I would imagine with a full training camp, going into this type of matchup now, like you have to be feeling a lot like very confident in this now because now you've like you said, you've had time to prepare and then in dirty boxing too, you kind of like got a taste of what that's like with no camp. So how does it feel coming in with a real camp for this one?
It's I couldn't have like made scheduled it better myself. I feel I'm so confident. It feels so good. Just like you said. Oh, let me just jump into this striking only league. Oh, that was way different than I thought it was going to be. Okay, now you get a full camp to go have 3 of those fights. So it was. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so confident going into this. Right, all the guys in it are all from all different kinds of backgrounds. So there's like I think Robellis is the only one fighting it that's fought for karate combat before. So we're all figuring it out at the same time. So it's going to be really cool.
I'm super excited to watch that, man. And like in terms of, the preparation again too, do you kind of feel like it's made you into a more well-rounded martial artist? Because, obviously in MMA you're training all different types of disciplines, but now like that you've been able to kind of focus on one aspect and even with dirty boxing, like the striking style, and that's probably even a little bit different than the style in this. Like, does that give you a lot of pride to be able to compete in all of these different interesting rule sets?
Absolutely, and like I'm saying it about myself, so I can be honest right here. Like it showed me that my striking kind of sucked, right? Like I made it to the UFC. I got to the pinnacle. I got to the top and didn't really know how to strike. I knew how to grab people and hold them down and choke them if they gave it to me. But and I did a lot of striking. I did the practices with everybody, but I didn't really understand the nuances until that was all I could do, right? No, you can only strike. So you better take that angle, right? When you can grapple, you hear about the angles. Oh, you want to take an angle, blah blah, whatever. If he throws that overhand, I'll just shoot. But when you can only strike, it makes it so much more important that you do all those little things that your coach tells you to do all the time. And yeah, having like, there's not a whole lot of guys that have gotten to do all of it, that have got to feel sports, have got to box, got to kickbox, got to karate fight, got to do MMA, all at the highest level available. So yeah, I'm very proud of this little career I'm putting together, and looking to finally make some waves and get going and get a belt in one of these organizations.
I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this interview too, like just all the different things that you've managed to do in your athletic career. And like I remember the first time we spoke that like we really dove into this, but like does it kind of blow your mind sometimes when you think about it? Like pro football, rugby, UFC, now like dirty boxing and karate combat. Like you've just done a crazy amount of things. Like do you think your grandkids are gonna believe you someday when you tell them about it?
So right now, that's all it's about. All I'm looking for right now, money, whatever. Like, sure, I want to fight for money. I want to make a lot of money. All I want is cool stories. All I want is to create this like legacy has been coming up a bunch in the UFC, right? Whatever. My legacy is just doing the coolest thing possible whenever it's available. And right now, that's an 8-man heavyweight tournament in a pit, right? Wearing gi pants. So I'm super pumped.
It's so crazy too, because when I saw it on your Instagram, when you put up the little teaser for it, and like obviously I knew that like Karate Combat had to be what it was, but I didn't think
Uh-huh.
it was anything like this. Like that 8-man tournament one night, like that's unbelievable. And like by the way, for people who don't know too, because I don't think it's as clear as the UFC could be sometimes, but like where if people want to watch it, where can they watch it?
I believe it's on YouTube. I believe it's going to be streamed live on YouTube.
I can't wait to watch this and like just kind of like to broaden the scope of it a little bit because this is something that I've thought about a lot of different times and me and my co-hosts have talked about on the podcast before. But like, do you think some of these promotions like Dirty Boxing, Karate Combat, or even like a BKFC, I feel like they're they're almost more popular like than some of the other like secondary MMA promotions like PFL or One. Do you think that like the reasoning for that is because they really are doing a good job at like changing the blueprint and just creating interesting rule sets and just overall doing something completely different than the UFC? Because I feel personally, like my opinion, I almost feel like PFL and One and some of these other promotions, like they try to compete with the UFC too much, while these other promotions are kind of trying to just build something completely different in a sense. And they're, in my opinion, like I feel like fans are more excited for stuff like this than they are for maybe like a PFL or a One event.
So you're completely correct. You're absolutely correct. The growth of MMA is slowing down and is almost done essentially. What's available in combat sports is are new things. BKFC, karate combat, dirty boxing. This is the only thing that's going to pull in new fans. If you're There's no one out there that hasn't heard of the UFC. You either like MMA or you don't like MMA, and that most people's opinions aren't going to change. But you go, oh, this, what is this? They're wearing gi pants, and you can do takedowns, ground and pound. Let me check this out. Those are the only things that are going to bring in new fans, and this is where all the room for growth is. BKFC, I mean, this is just speculation, but I'm pretty sure they're probably doing better than the PFL is as far as like numbers, watching what fighters are getting paid, other than the tournament winners. PFL just had to cut all their every Bellator guy that they signed and made sit out for 2 years. So this is the realm for growth. These organizations, Dirty Boxing, Karate Combat, BKFC, which in theory are what the fans say they want. They say they want striking. They say they want damage, blood, all that stuff. This is what is there for growth, and they have a big. All of them have big pushing from like crypto behind them. I don't know anything about that, but it
Me and
but
you
it
both.
seems but it seems like that's where that money comes from. That I don't know, but that's something that's not real. The UFC is not really doing, which is another avenue of growth. But yeah, there's not a whole there's you're not going to see some random new MMA promotion just appear and take stuff from the UFC. So it's got to be these organizations that are trying to do different things.
Yeah, I 100% agree too because like even when you think about like remember the thing that came up about the GFL and then that just
Oh,
completely like
dude,
fell
I was in
apart.
the GFL draft. I was
Were
in the
you?
GFL draft, and I didn't get drafted, but I didn't know. Like, I'm sitting here watching this AI thing, going, "What the hell is going on with this?" And then I'm all bummed that I don't get drafted, and then the league just dissolves and disappears before they even have a single order. That's a perfect example, dude. That's all that's left for MMA outside of the UFC.
Yeah, because right when you said organizations don't appear, and I was like, oh, the GFL kind of did, but they didn't
Yeah.
really do much past that. But like, this is awesome, man. Like, I really love seeing you outside of the UFC, like fighting in all of these different cool events. Like, even I remember the last time we talked, you talked about like the pressure just being in the UFC and like kind of really wanting to prove yourself and be the best. And like, it seems like right now outside of it, like you're really loving what you do. And like, it's just, you seem like really at peace. And I love to see it as a fan of yours too. And like, after this, like, are your goals still to like just still kind of compete in all of these different types of rule sets, or do you think that you would like return to like just full MMA at some point if the opportunity arose?
I'm not going to turn down any opportunity. I don't think the UFC is calling me back anytime soon. But my goal, what I would love to do, I want to go win this tournament. I want to go win this 8-man heavyweight tournament July 18th in Miami for the belt. And I want to retire as the Karate Combat heavyweight champion. That's my goal right now.
That would be an awesome story. I would definitely love to see that. And, we were talking a little bit about Sam Alvey before too. Like it was fun to listen to him talk about, you're the karate combat heavyweight champion. You're the best karateka in the world. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's a valid point. So it would, that would be really cool to see. And I hope it does happen. Um, just, a few more things before we go too. I brought up the UFC obviously just before. I saw you were in Baku with Curtis Blaydes. How was that going all the way over there for a fight night, even though it wasn't obviously your own?
It was cool. It was I mean, until Curtis signed that fight, I didn't know Azerbaijan existed, but it was a really cool town. Great food. The people over there are like mega fans. Like it was like being with Michael Jordan. Like we couldn't even leave the hotel. People were swarming Curtis, running over there. So I mean, wouldn't want to live like that every day, but it's kind of cool, for a week at a time. It was cool to experience. And he had a hard fight and some health issues going into it, but he got the win. So overall, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it must have been something. Like I saw you were over there. I was like, damn, you're getting around. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And a couple more things. One thing I did want to bring up, I saw that you're getting into the podcasting game, the Fully Hydrated podcast, right? Tell me a bit more about that.
I just done a lot of these podcasts. I talk to a lot of different people, and everyone always tells me, I speak well, I have good, interesting things to say. So I figured, like, all this stuff I'm doing, all these crazy things that I'm doing, fighting in 8-man tournaments, playing in the NFL, being a cop, like, even when my career is done, like, I got to keep talking about it, keep pushing it out there, keep my takes going. So yeah, I'm doing a podcast, Fully Hydrated, with my co-host Rob Nakamura, who I met through a different podcast. Who we just vibe together well. So yeah, we do once a week, one episode a week right now, and it's we already had to miss one because I was in Azerbaijan. So it's a hard thing to do, but I'm having fun. That's the biggest thing. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, as long as you're enjoying it, man, that makes it fun. And I do agree with you. I mean, like, even when I'm talking to you in these interviews, I always enjoy the conversations, and you have a lot of interesting perspectives, and especially just, having been around like all the different things you've done, I can only imagine some of just like the life experience that you have. Um, but, one last thing that I did want to ask you, I feel like we've talked about it each time we've been on Zoom just in conversation, but this time I just got to bring it up and break the flow. But the NFL, your Broncos, how you feeling this season coming up?
You, you know, I
The Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So like, I'm, I've, I'm sure that I've said this to you before, but like, if you're a true Bronco fan, if you're a true Bronco fan, you know that we buy our Super Bowls. And it's not time yet, but it's getting close. It's getting close. I think they're going to be okay this year. Kansas City's on the way down, dude. Kansas
You're
City
starting to see the cracks. We're all
yeah,
seeing
Kansas City's
it.
on the way down. We just need a few more free agent signings. We're like 2 or 3 years away, but it's going to be an average year this year. But the Broncos are on the way back up.
That's awesome. I mean, my Saints have just really just put a damper on my mood, man. And this whole thing, like Derek Carr just retired out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like that made me happy, but at the same time, like, why'd you do it now? And yeah, so I couldn't even tell you how I think my Saints are gonna do. With the NFC South, I feel like it's always a toss-up. So I feel like they're probably not gonna do too well, but who knows, maybe they'll do something crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's been awesome talking to you. I've loved hearing about the karate combat stuff. Like I said, when you first announced it on your Instagram, that got me really excited. And to hear about a modern day one night tournament, that's always fun because even, when you think about other promotions that have done this type of thing, like even, the PFL right now or Bellator back when they were around, like their tournaments would last over the course of like an entire year and you're going to be
Year,
able to
yeah.
do this all in one night. Like I said, that's got to be crazy for you. So I'm definitely happy for you, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm super excited, and I do appreciate the like little bit of shine that you guys have given me in my career. This is my third or fourth interview with you guys, and like I said, I appreciate it. Any chance that we can get to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And, same goes both ways. Back when you were on Tough, you were one of the first fighters who was involved with the UFC who ever really supported us. So anytime like you want to come on, I'm always game.
Feel just like a superstar. Doing all these drugs, I don't think I'm gonna see tomorrow. Living fast, brand new dash up in a foreign car. It's the type of shit that you be doing when you going hard.